We've got a bush block in Piggabeen which comprises of 13 zones. I just wanted to do this video to show you the relationship between the zones and the slopes, and to see whether we can use a robotic mower, a single mower. So this is the house terrace near the drive. It does have power, and it is joined via this little path to the house terrace. Oh, it's going into the sun, which is to the east, which has got a very slight fall off to my left, but I think the terrace is relatively flat apart from this edge. It wraps around the house and it goes around the back of the house. From the videos that I've seen, I think that a robotic mower will have no problem mowing this. Where it gets tricky is going down to the first terraces below the retaining wall. So there's a track which is actually quite steep and quite rough, which goes down here to get to those terraces. So I think this track is about 45 to 50 meters long, and we've just had retaining walls put in on this side, and the slope that we had to retain was 26 degrees. So I'm assuming that this track is running at 26 degrees or 30 degrees. So this is standing halfway along the track and then looking down here the rest of the way. And you can see that these terraces, this is the 26 degree slope. So this is just standing at the bottom of this track, looking up. So the mower would have to go up and down this track to access the top two terraces on the house level, and then it gets much easier from down here. So there are basically three terraces. The first terrace below the retaining wall, the second terrace below the retaining wall, and then the very bottom one is number 13, zone 13, the water tank terrace. I think these terraces here are relatively straightforward. They are separated by a retaining wall. There is a bit of a drop off on the next terrace down, a bit of a slope to the north, but I think it should be fairly easy for a mower to get along here. And then zones 3 and 4 join in what I've called zone 5. Up the top here there is a bit of a slope coming up, and this here is what I have called zone 5. What is tricky is this little triangle area over here, which is zone 6, the steep bank above terrace 5. I'm not exactly sure how a ride-on will get in here, or whether it can deal with the slope. It can actually access it further along the driveway, but that's an interesting drive. This path will be mulched, and then there's quite a steep bank, which is zone 7, the hill to the north and the west of the pool. So this bank is relatively steep, but it can be accessed, or we could create a path to basically access it from the drive. I think that's that terrace. And then walking onto the drive, so we've got palm mulch down, which I'm thinking the mower will be able to deal with. And then from here we basically go onto the driveway. There is power at this point, but we get down to the shed further down and there's power there as well. So just walking along the driveway to zone 8. This is the west terrace bordering the neighbour. It's got a slope on it, but I think a mower would be alright with this. Yeah, I think it's fine. And then going back onto the driveway, there's the I've called it the vegetable bed terrace, which has got 4 vegetable beds in it. I'm just going to try and get out of the sun. It's got it's got 6 raised vegetable beds in it. But I think this terrace is all quite reasonable. And then it joins, so we're below the shed now where there's power. You can see there's the water tank terrace, which is terrace number 13, and there's this track that adjoins the back terraces to the terraces on the northern end of the property. So there's a track going down here. There's nothing really growing on this bank. There is a little bit of lawn further on along here, which I don't know if this is too steep for a mower to get up and down. And then these here are just the lower terraces.